Have you ever wondered how one of the most significant aerial battles in history began? The Battle of Britain, a major World War II event, took flight in the scorching summer of July 1940. This was not a battle of choice, but a battle of necessity born out of Germany's aggressive expansion across Europe. The British Isles, a beacon of resistance, refused to bow to the threat of invasion. The stakes were high, the tension palpable. As the shadow of war loomed large over the nation, the German Luftwaffe, a formidable force, boasted a significant numerical advantage over the British Royal Air Force. It was a classic David versus Goliath scenario. Despite the disparity, the British did not waver. Their resolve was as steely as the planes they flew, their spirit as fierce as the pilots who manned them. They knew the cost of failure was unthinkable, the price of freedom immeasurable. Thus, against overwhelming odds, Britain stood alone, poised for battle. So, how does a nation, outnumbered and outgunned, prepare for such a battle? This question brings us to the tactics and technology that shaped the Battle of Britain. Let's start with the Germans. Their strategy was aggressive and multi-pronged. With the Luftwaffe, their formidable air force, they planned to gain air superiority by bombing Royal Air Force airfields and radar stations. The aim? To cripple Britain's air defences and leave the nation vulnerable to an invasion. They also targeted cities, hoping to break the spirit of the British people and force a quick surrender. Now, for the British. They knew they were underdogs, but they had a secret weapon: radar technology. The Chain Home system, a network of radar stations along the British coast, was instrumental in detecting incoming enemy aircraft. This early warning system enabled the RAF to scramble fighters with just enough time to intercept German bombers. It was a game of cat and mouse, played out in the tension-filled skies over Britain. The British had another advantage: their aircraft. The Supermarine Spitfire and the Hawker Hurricane became symbols of resistance. The Spitfire, with its superior speed and agility, was a match for the German Messerschmitt. The Hurricane, although slower, was robust and reliable, capable of absorbing significant damage and still making it home. The Germans, on the other hand, relied heavily on the Messerschmitt Bf 109 and the Heinkel He 111. The Messerschmitt, known for its speed and firepower, was a formidable adversary for the British fighters. The Heinkel, a medium bomber, was the workhorse of the Luftwaffe's bombing campaigns. These were the tools of war, the machines that roared and rumbled in the battle-ridden skies. But they were only as effective as the strategies they served. For the British, the use of radar technology and the resilience of their fighters were crucial. For the Germans, their relentless bombing campaigns sought to break British defences and morale. With these tactics and technologies, a fierce and deadly dance in the skies was set to unfold. The stage was set for one of the most significant battles of the Second World War. But every dance must come to an end, and so did the Battle of Britain. But how, you may ask? The turning point came when the Germans made a strategic blunder. Instead of continuing to target Britain's airfields and radar stations, they shifted their focus to bombing cities. This change in strategy gave the Royal Air Force, or RAF, a much-needed respite, allowing them to recover and rebuild. The Luftwaffe, Germany's air force, began to experience increasing losses. Their planes were being shot down faster than they could replace them. This was due in large part to the RAF's superior fighter aircraft, the Spitfire and the Hurricane. These planes, along with the bravery of the RAF pilots, were instrumental in turning the tide of the battle. The Luftwaffe's losses weren't just in the air. The constant bombing raids required immense resources that Germany was beginning to run low on. Fuel, ammunition, and trained pilots were all in short supply. This led to a decrease in the frequency and intensity of bombing raids, further tipping the scales in Britain's favour. The official end of the Battle of Britain came in October 1940. By this time, the Luftwaffe had been significantly weakened, and Hitler was forced to postpone his plans for an invasion of Britain indefinitely. The RAF had held their line. The skies over Britain were no longer dominated by the ominous hum of German bombers. Instead, they were filled with the triumphant roar of Spitfires and Hurricanes. The Battle of Britain was more than just a military victory. It was a beacon of hope in a world darkened by the shadow of war. It showed that the Nazi war machine was not invincible, that Britain could and would stand against it. And so Britain had held the line, changing the course of the war. The Battle of Britain was a testament to the resilience of the British people and their unwavering determination to protect their homeland. It was, in every sense, their finest hour. The Battle of Britain was over, but what was the impact of this pivotal event? In the wake of the conflict, the British people experienced a surge of morale. The victory not only quelled the immediate threat of invasion, but also served as a beacon of hope for other nations under the shadow of the Third Reich. This battle wasn't simply a military victory, it was a psychological one. Moreover, the thwarted invasion forced the Germans to reroute their focus to the Eastern Front. This diversion of resources and manpower marked a turning point in the trajectory of the war. The Battle of Britain's legacy extends far beyond the battlefield. It inspired Winston Churchill's immortal words, "Never was so much owed by so many to so few," a tribute to the courage and resilience of the Royal Air Force pilots who defended their homeland under dire circumstances. In the annals of history, the Battle of Britain stands as a testament to resilience, courage, and the indomitable spirit of humanity.